Right now, somewhere outside, the light is changing. Maybe it's the first cold morning of autumn. Maybe it's the smell of rain before a storm. Maybe it's just the sun setting a few minutes earlier than yesterday. You probably didn't notice you noticed. Your body did it for you. 300 miles above your head, none of that exists. No weather, no seasons, no sunrise, not really. Just a light switching on and off every 90 minutes, 16 times a day, forever. What happens to a human mind that loses its seasons? Start with what a season actually is, not the temperature, not the leaves. A season is information. It's your body's oldest calendar, older than clocks, older than language. Shortening days tell you to slow down. Lengthening days tell you to wake up. Your brain uses light and temperature and smell to figure out where it stands in time. Take that away, and your brain doesn't just lose comfort. It loses a sense of when. Astronauts on the International Space Station orbit Earth every 90 minutes. That means a sunrise every 90 minutes, 16 sunrises, and 16 sunsets a day. Your body was built to expect one of each. So how does NASA stop that from breaking a person? The station runs on an artificial clock. Mission Control keeps crews on a strict schedule tied to Greenwich Mean Time, not the sun outside the window. Lights on the station shift color across the day, cooler and bluer in the morning, warmer and dimmer at night, mimicking a sunrise and sunset that isn't really happening. It's a manufactured season, compressed into 24 hours, running on repeat. Because without it, the human sleep cycle falls apart within days. But mimicking a day is the easy part. Mimicking a year is much harder. And a year, it turns out, might matter more. This is where the real research gets strange. For decades, scientists have studied people who live through an entire year with no real seasons at all. Not astronauts, scientists at Antarctic research stations. During the Antarctic winter, the sun sets in March and doesn't rise again until September. 6 straight months of darkness. No seasons changing outside, because outside has stopped changing at all. Researchers who study these crews found something they now call winter over syndrome. Irritability, trouble concentrating, a strange fog that settles over people by month 3 or 4, sleep that won't behave. Some crew members describe a flattened sense of time itself, like the days stopped being separate days and became one long day that never ends. Sound familiar? It should. It's close to what some astronauts report on long-duration missions. Not identical, but close enough that space agencies study Antarctic stations specifically to prepare astronauts for Mars. Here's the twist nobody expects. The fix isn't more comfort. It's structure. At Antarctic stations and on the ISS, and in NASA's Mars simulation habitats like HISEAS in Hawaii, the psychological survival strategy isn't trying to recreate a real season. It's inventing an artificial one on purpose. Crews build tiny rituals tied to a calendar that has no outdoor referent at all. A specific meal on a specific day, a specific movie night, a birthday, a holiday, an arbitrary Friday, celebrated hard. Precisely because nothing outside will mark it for you. Chi-Seas crews, living in isolation for NASA-funded studies on long-term confinement, reported that these invented rituals weren't decoration. They were psychological infrastructure. Remove them, and the fog from winter over syndrome creeps back in faster. There's a reason this works, and it says something uncomfortable about how fragile your own sense of time really is. Season isn't just weather. Season is punctuation. It's your brain's way of chopping an unbearably long, undifferentiated stretch of existence into chapters. Spring ends, summer begins. Something happened. Without that punctuation, time doesn't feel long. It feels formless. This is part of why Mars missions terrify mission planners more than the radiation does. A round trip to Mars could take 2 to 3 years. No seasons. No real sunrises. No changing light through a window. Because for most of the trip, there's no window view that changes at all. Just black space, a fixed artificial schedule, and however many crewmates you started with. Roscosmos and the European Space Agency have run their own isolation studies for exactly this reason. One of the most cited, a project called Mars 500, sealed a crew inside a mock spacecraft for 520 days, with zero contact with real weather, real seasons, real sunlight. Researchers tracked mood, motivation, and sleep the entire time. What they found matched the Antarctic data almost exactly. The crew didn't crack from fear or danger, they drifted. Motivation eroded slowly, quietly, the way a season fades instead of ending. So mission planners now build the invented calendar in from day one. Structured seasons of activity and rest, symbolic milestones, deliberate variety in lighting, food, and routine, engineered specifically to give the brain the illusion of change it's evolved to require. Which brings back the question from the beginning. What happens to a mind that loses its seasons? It doesn't just get bored. It loses its grip on where it is in the story of its own life. And the fix isn't sunlight, not really. It's meaning, manufactured on purpose, on a schedule, whether or not the sky agrees to provide it. Tonight, when the light changes outside your window and you don't even register it, remember that somewhere, in a station, or a habitat, or a spacecraft, heading somewhere far from here, someone is fighting to invent that exact feeling from scratch, because their mind needs it to survive. Right now, outside, the light is changing. You should probably go notice.